I moved into apartment 3B because it was cheap, not because I liked it. The building was old, the kind of place that smelled faintly like boiled cabbage and dust no matter what floor you were on. The hallway lights flickered, the elevator groaned like it resented being used, and the paint peeled in strips from the ceiling like dead skin. But the price was right, and after the breakup, I didn't have much choice. I told myself I liked the quiet. That's what I wanted, right? A reset. Just me, a mattress on the floor, a folding chair, and a few boxes I hadn't unpacked. Sparse, peaceful, a place to think. Except it wasn't quiet, not at night. It started my first week. I was lying in bed, no TV, no music, just the city hum outside. And I heard it, a voice, faint, muffled, like someone talking through a pillow. I thought it might be the neighbors. The walls were thin, after all. I could hear the pipes groan every time someone flushed. Maybe it was just someone on the phone, but the voice didn't stop. It wasn't a conversation. It was one-sided, like someone reciting something, too steady, too calm. I pressed my ear to the wall. Nothing. I lay back down, and there it was again. Just a few words, barely audible. I told myself it was my imagination, but it came back the next night and the next, always just past midnight, always from the same spot. And the voice, it was familiar, not like someone I knew, more like someone I should know. There was a rhythm to it, a kind of lulling cadence, like a bedtime story told too quietly. I couldn't make out the words, but I felt them, in my stomach, like nausea before a storm. After a week, I knocked on the wall. The voice paused. I waited. Then it started again. No louder, no different. Like it hadn't noticed me at all. Or worse, like it had and just didn't care. I asked the super if anyone lived in 3A. He gave me a look. That unit's been empty for 2 years. Water damage. I asked him if he was sure. He laughed. You think I wouldn't know? I'm in there every month checking for mold. I didn't push it, but I walked past 3A that night. The door was locked. The peephole stared back at me like a blind eye. I pressed my hand to the wood. It was warm. I went back to my apartment, but I didn't sleep. The voice came again. And this time, I leaned closer. I wanted to know what it was saying. I wanted to understand, and I did. Not all at once, but a word here, a phrase there, like radio static resolving into speech.
You forgot again. Close your eyes. I'm still in here.
I stopped inviting people over. Not that I had many friends left, but when coworkers asked about drinks after work, I said I had plans. I did. Listening. Every night, I sat in the dark with my ear to the wall, waiting. It became routine, like brushing my teeth, like breathing. I started dreaming about the wall, not the apartment, just the wall. A gray expanse stretching in all directions, endless and pockmarked with cracks. I would walk for hours trying to find a seam, a door, anything. and I'd hear it behind me. The voice, closer each time. One night, I snapped. I dragged the chair over, climbed up, and put my ear to the top corner where the wall met the ceiling. The voice was louder there, whispering something like,
Let me out.
I laughed. Or cried. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. I punched the wall. The plaster cracked. Not deep, just a hairline fracture. But the voice stopped. I didn't sleep that night. For the first time in weeks, the silence was worse. The next morning, I went to work like nothing happened. I smiled at people. I nodded at meetings. I answered emails. And the whole time, I felt it. The wall, calling me back. When I got home, the air was thick, heavy. My apartment smelled like mildew and dust, and something else, like breath. I stared at the cracked wall. The voice didn't return that night, but I dreamed. This time, I found a door, wooden, old. In the middle of the endless gray wall, I opened it. Inside was me, but wrong. My reflection, maybe, or my shadow. It looked like me, but it didn't blink. And when I stepped inside, it smiled. The next day, I didn't go to work. I sat in front of the wall, waiting. When the voice returned, it wasn't a whisper. It was a murmur, right beneath the surface, like something swimming just under ice. I pressed my palm to the crack I'd made. It pulsed, and then I heard it clearly.
You remember now, don't you?
I staggered back. I didn't answer. I didn't breathe. The voice continued.
You sealed me in. You wanted to forget.
I don't know how long I sat there. The sun rose. The light through the window was pale and sickly. I didn't move, didn't blink. I remembered, sort of. Not details, not names, but a feeling like waking up and knowing you've done something awful, but not remembering what. The crack in the wall was wider now. I didn't open it. I didn't have to. It opened itself, a sliver at first. Just enough for a sound to leak through. Breathing. Mine, but not from my lungs. From the wall. It spoke again.
Let's not do this again.
The last thing I remember before blacking out was the feeling of fingers, my fingers, closing around my own throat. I woke up this morning on the floor, mouth dry, eyes burning. I looked at the wall. The crack is gone, sealed, perfectly smooth. But the voice isn't. It's inside now, not whispering through the wall, but nested somewhere deep in my thoughts. It finishes my sentences, speaks with my voice before I do, dreams with me. Sometimes I'll catch myself thinking something and realize I don't know why or who thought it first. The boundaries are thinning. I see my reflection move slightly out of sync. I hear laughter in my own voice that doesn't feel like mine. And when I speak, sometimes I don't recognize the shape of the words, like I'm repeating lines I never learned. I think I'm still me, most of the time. But there are moments, quiet ones, when I wonder if I'm just what's left after it decided to stay. And sometimes, just before sleep, I feel it watching through my eyes, waiting for me to forget who I was, so it doesn't have to pretend anymore.
Postscript. Extract from Wallace Heights. Incident File S-1134. Compiled Summary. Internal Use Only. Date of Report. Redacted. Filed by Officer Riley. Subject. Name withheld. Resident, Unit 3. B. Incident Summary. Neighbors contacted authorities following several nights of unexplained noises and a prolonged scream heard around 3:40 a.m. Initial police entry was granted via landlord. Apartment found dimly lit, all windows sealed. Subject located sitting on living room floor, facing a blank wall. No visible injuries. Minimal verbal response, repeating disjointed phrases, including, "The wall forgot how to be quiet. The crack. She doesn't need it anymore. It's already inside. Am I still me?" Subject taken into temporary care. Wall in question showed no cracks, no signs of tampering. Coworker statements, compiled from HR interviews at Omnisys Consulting. She used to come out for drinks after work. Then one day she just stopped. Said she had plans, but never said what. Eventually, she stopped getting invited. She used to laugh a lot, like really laugh. Then it was just silence, or that smile. The one that felt more like a reflex than anything real. I overheard her in the break room whispering, but she was alone. When I walked in, she looked surprised, like I wasn't supposed to see her. Status, open investigation. Follow-up scheduled with psychiatric care team and building management.